Welcome to another Thursday night Bible study, brought to you as a ministry of SIGBC.
And so we continue our series that we're in right now on who and what we should be. Now, so far, we've looked at the areas of be kind and be compassionate and be forgiving. And we had a 12-week series that we did while we were in America on these three themes. But there's actually a lot of things that God desires that we be when it comes to expressing a personality that is pleasing to God. And so once we got back here for the last 3 weeks, we talked about be patient. And we saw how the Bible talks about the importance of patience and enduring hardship and putting up with those who even choose to do wrong to us. All of these things obviously relate to be loving, which is something we're going to be studying next. But today we're going to begin a series on the subject of be understanding. Now, it's actually three different messages we're going to be talking about on the subject of being understanding. But one of the things that I think we sometimes don't understand about being understanding is the Bible talks about wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And knowledge, of course, is that which we know here. Wisdom is how we apply that which we know here. And understanding is recognizing the reason for why we apply what we know here. And so when we choose to be understanding, there is a conscious choice involved in the desire to and the commitment to being understanding. Last week I was talking with someone, and we were talking about the idea of judging, which is a part of this understanding series as well. We're talking about the subject of judging, and the conversation came to the normally quoted axiom, which is never judge a person until you've walked a mile in his or her shoes. The idea behind never judge a person until you've walked a mile in his or her shoes is you don't know what they're going through. You don't know the struggle they've been through. You don't know the family background that they have. You don't know the kind of economic hardships or emotional turmoil or abuse they've experienced. So we should not be judging the people until we walk a mile in the shoes. And so in talking about that idea of never judge a person until you walked a mile in their shoes, I made this statement, well, maybe that's not a very good statement. And we had a little discussion. Why don't judge a person until you've walked a mile in their shoes? Maybe not a good statement at all. And the conclusion was that maybe a good statement because Jesus simply said, don't judge. He didn't say don't judge until you walked in their shoes. He just don't judge. In other words, if we can choose to be understanding, then we choose to love, and we can choose to be non-judgmental. In Luke chapter 6, verse 21 through 31, we're going to be with this passage, and next week after that, we'll continue in this passage, various aspects of the passage. But in Luke chapter 6, verse 21 through 31, it says, but to you listening today, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, hold your shirt with them. Give to everyone who asks you, and if it takes which belongs to you, do not take it back. Do to others as you have them do. What we describe as the golden rule. We should always strive to do others as we would like her to have to do for us. The basis for being understood. Because we judge and we recognize that the standard that we wish others by our lives, that's the standard God calls us by lives of around us. Now, Jesus, and of course, chapter 5 discusses this issue as well, but here in Luke chapter 6, he gives very difficult requirements when it comes to understanding, not judging. And so let's look at these individuals, shall we? So, first of all, it says, listening is what I want you to do. Heard that it's been love your neighbor and enemy, he says in Matthew chapter 5. You've heard that love your neighbor and enemy, but I say to you, love your enemies. Now in Luke 6, he goes on and he says, not just your enemy, it is an generic, real idea, abstract. He's don't take the idea of love others an abstract concept. We want to apply the biblical concept of loving, and here how I express it is do good to you. Saying do people who are good to you. In fact, he's obvious are going to be good to them. Even taxers are good to them. You know, even sinners are good with these people who are good. And you have to be a good to them when someone is good to you. But no, instead it says, I want you to do to those who hate you. That's right. Despise you and your gut you up and it have and in desire to do them good. It doesn't just good. It also says someone curses you, bless. Desire good for desire you. That's the order. Desire for those who are harmful. Those who he with means that's those you with. Here's how practice treat you for the good treat you. Old Testament find example of imprecatory Psalms, number of prayer the is when those who have evil and condemnation who have done restore those right, smite those who have been cruel, evil, who is of an who has oppressed, and it is the part of it who and so the Jew the point the Bible teaches your neighbor as your love your if a neighbor up they have people who Israel and hate God in it. Those who fellow Israelites hate this. We're only love They were hate who were not. Two commonly accepted ideas is not what it's love you, but you, and that lived in to the we are by two miss some of the wrong judges for them is you by they would no kind of about the hey us you of the you because is of love all understand yes but I don't them that were love time be I can pay as my face and now
Thank you for listening. You can also join us in person or live on Facebook every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Japan time. This has been a ministry of Sakahogi International Grace Baptist Church.